I know there are fans out there like myself who set a watch. I used to always set one.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 to the 5.
1 to the 5 inside. 6 minutes to the start of our 1 liters.
Well, Brad, why don't you turn around and look? I'm missing a particular boat. I'm not sure if it's down there in the end. That would be Josh Colver. We saw him on the last heat having some issues right down at the start-finish line. So we'll have to see if Josh is going to be able to make the call, because we're coming down to our start of our 1 liters. Looks like Bobby King is sitting comfortable in that Shenanigans 41 boat. I see David Hale in the bright red 30. I see Sanchez in the orange and blue 45.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 5 minutes. Green flag on the course.
Green flag on the race course for our
First one off the dock is going to be Jeff Bernard in the 18 making a statement. Jack Koenig having some issues this morning. Was able to get out on the course, but if you remember the last heat, he went dead, came back out onto the course again. David Hale in the wide 30s. RJ West coming out in the circus boat. Looks like Bobby King's having some troubles getting the 41 Shenanigans boat lit off. He is about 20 feet off the dock. Starts it up one more time. We're going to have to watch that Y41 to see if Bobby King can come out in 10th with the rest of the 1 liters. Looks like he's in there frantically trying to get that boat started up in the 1 liter. Keep in mind, folks, this is a 13-foot boat. Only goes about 110 miles an hour across the water, but young 16-year-olds can start racing in this class in our 1 liter. 16 years old to go across the water in the 1 liter class. Sounds like fun to me, Bradley. Listen, we got Sanchez out on the course in the 45, Beacon Plumbing, but still, Bobby King looks to be having some troubles getting out on the course. That was your winner of the last heat.
Yeah, and if you look down here at the dock behind Bobby King, you'll see a concerned bystander down there. That is J. Michael Kelly. That is J. Michael Kelly's 41, and he is watching his boat out there right now. Bobby King trying to get it lit. It turns over, but he's not able to keep it lit there. He's got it lit again, and it just won't stay lit. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, we are inside 4 minutes, coming up on 3:15 to our start.
Doesn't sound like he's got like a compression issue. Maybe the spark plug might be going bad. We're going to put our eyes back down on the course and let RJ West in that pink circus mode as he's the first one to come in turn number 2, making a timing run, bringing along his fellow California driver, David Hale.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I stopped mid-sentence there. I thought maybe...
Talking, then maybe he'll give Bobby
Maybe
hit.
There we go. Here he comes. Bobby King and the Y41 Shenanigans is up and running. He is coming out on the race course. I thought for a minute we were going to have to run this heat without Bobby King and also Josh Culver. Now, unfortunately, it's just Josh Culver who is not going to be able to answer the bell.
All right, looks like Sanchez and the 45 Beacon Plumbing opts to go to the middle of the course and cut through, go across the start-finish line. Boats are starting to spread out onto the course. They're doing their timing runs. We had a lot of testing on Friday and more racing yesterday. At that point, it's Sunday, Brad. You would think they'd have these timing runs down, but all weekend long, we've seen these guys get extremely close to jumping the gun. I think we've had more under the review starts than we've had good starts.
We have had a lot of them, and that just means that's an indication of how tight and how close and how competitive the racing is. Everybody knows you got to be on that line at the split second when the clock strikes 0 if you're going to have a chance to win, because if one of these boats gets a jump on you, you're just going to have your hands full trying to drive around them.
Well, Bradley, let's tell our fans who are just joining us today there are timing runs that they must make. We also have what's called a score. They cannot go across that score buoy until the clock hits 1 minute 15 seconds. They are making their way out of turn number 1, and they are starting to approach that score up buoy, which will be the exit of turn 1, and we are 1 minute and 21 seconds. So, Brad, they're going to be cutting it awfully close as they start to make their their way out of turn one. But I can see that shenanigans. But Brad, check out that photo opportunities. I have 5 wide starting to come down the backstretch.
Yeah, that's a good-looking shot coming up the backstretch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats. 6 boats, and I'll tell you what, lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are pretty darn tight as they come up to the top end. Inside 1 minute 56 seconds until the start. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be good. Has Bernard stuck inside? I believe he has checked the colors on that one. Yes, that is Jeff Bernard in lane number 1. Now they turn and start coming around the corner up here. 40 seconds until the start. The idea in boat racing, put your hydroplane on the start-finish line at the instant that the clock strikes 0. Get there a tick early and cross the line, you get a penalty. Get there late, you're going to trade everybody into that first turn. Off the top end of the race course, 20 seconds until the start. 20 seconds counting down, coming up now on 15. Our angle is a little bit skewed here from atop the pit tower. We'll do our best to call them. We are now inside 10 seconds. They start to accelerate. We are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark, and we are racing here in our heat of 1 liters down to the lower corner. I think Bernard got down there first. We'll keep our eyes open for Bobby King. They're the ones that have been squaring off. But Kay, there's a whole lot of 1 liters coming out of the bottom end of the race course.
I know when I was interviewing Bobby King after his last win, he said, my goal is to get on the inside, and I looked over and I saw Jeff Bernard shaking his head saying, I don't think so. It was close, but it is a good start, and it's going to be once again on the inside, Bernard on the outside, and look at Bobby King tap the sponsons as he goes down the backstretch. He is going to be cutting it close. He's going to come really close to Jeff Bernard. Great run for 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the outside. David Hale on the inside is going to be smacked down in the middle. RJ West.
Coming off the top end of the race course, as we expected, it is Bobby King. It is Jeff Bernard. Bernard's on the inside. In the black and green on the outside is Bobby King. They put 1 in the hooks with 2 more to go. The start was legal, so their way they're running on the water is the way they are actually running in the standings right now. It is a 2-boat duel. It is way out front. There is some good racing back in the pack, but right up at the front of the pack, we've got 2 boats tied together. This is what 1 liter racing is like, and look at that. The 2 of them are going to come off the corner, literally tied together. Bobby King on the outside, Jeff Bernard on the inside. Now you mash the gas and just let her fly. Watch the air they get underneath these boats as they come up to the top end. King has opened up a little bit of water now on Bernard, but Jeff has the lane position as they get to the entrance pin. This is really good racing here. King gets to the corner first. Jeff right with him, Kay.
Bobby King looked like he was going to try and slam the door on Jeff Bernard, but he knew he had to give him that rooster tail advantage. But Jeff Bernard once again keeps his nose in the hammer, and he is going to hold on to that inside. Another great race going on for 3rd and 4th on the inside. RJ West, David Hale, both of our California drivers. 5th and 6th, we've got 3 close races going on. These guys are going for the podium finish.
Yeah, very good racing. You know what I love to say, 1 liters never disappoint. And look at those 2 guys. They've got a full straightaway lead down there at the bottom end of the race course. This is the 3rd and final time around. King on the outside. Bobby got about 4 boat lengths on Jeff Bernard, but if you think Jeff Bernard is going to give up, you don't know Jeffy very well. He is going to do everything he can. He's going to try and get every advantage and get every possibility out of that inside lane. He's got lane position, but there's a lot of speed in that black and green shenanigans. They had a hard time starting on the water. Right now they're doing a good job coming toward the finish, Kay. Top end of the race course. King by 3 boat lengths.
Oh my gosh, did you see when King was coming down? We have a great advantage here with us on the podium and also with our H1 Live coverage. They are showing that Bobby King only has 3 blades in the... All right, looks like we might have a boat down. David Hale had to cut onto the inside of the course, but guess what? Checkered flag goes across the start-finish line. It looks like Bobby King was able to take the checkered flag, followed by Jeff Bernard, RJ West at the apex in your 3rd place in the Circus boat, followed by Sanchez.
Not quite sure what happened to David Hale down there. I'm not sure if he spun or not sure exactly what happened. He was in an outside lane. All of a sudden, he was making a hard left turn, and he went into the infield. He then came back out on the race course and is coming back up the straightaway. So obviously everything is okay with him. Man, oh man, once again, the one leaders put on a good deck-to-deck race. Doggone it, where was Culver? I wanted him right in the middle of that.
We'll have to go down there and find out where Culver's at, and we've got more racing going on this afternoon, so hopefully we'll be able to see him at track.
All right, we have an official now. The official finish on the water was indeed the Y41, Bobby King. He was able to get around Jeff Bernard and hold on for the victory. Jeff Bernard in the Y18 came in second place. And then it was the Y31, RJ West, driving the two-tone pink Circus, coming in third. Great racing in the one leaders. I guess I can say it, as always, great racing in the one leaders. I mentioned, I believe, and I am convinced the action will be very, very good today as our one leaders come back to the dock. They are greeted by seeing the U8, the Miss Tri-Cities. Boat has been lowered into the water for our Heat 3A. H1 Unlimited Heat 3A presented by Davies Electric.
All right, I got Jeff Bernard here. Jeff, great run, great start. You nailed it on the inside lane and were able to take it all the way through up until the very, very end when Bobby was able to get around you.
Been making some changes to the boat, getting a little bit better. Not quite there yet, but to run that close to them on this race, we expected. So we're happy. Try to make a good start in the final and get lane one again and get lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky.
All right, well, I like to see that. I like the motivation that you're going to take that lane one away from Bobby King. Because Bobby King, come on over here. You told me you were going to take the inside lane. Last time I checked, that was the closest to the buoys, not 3 boat lengths over.
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble getting all the tips there and kind of just tucked in wherever we tucked in on that one. And I was getting there a little nervous there. It took her quite a bit of time to get off the dock. But hats off to Jim Sheckler and Tim Collins. This thing is just an absolute rocket ship. Jeff drove a great race. It's fortunate to be able to win that one from the outside.
Well, we were up there up on the tower. Brad Luce and I were up there on the tower. We were cheering you on. We could see you scrambling inside the cockpit. Tell our fans what exactly goes. What were you doing in the cockpit? Were you trying to ignite it? Were you talking to your crew members? What exactly was going on? What was all the scrambling?
Shutting off the ignition switch, turning it back on. This boat has a primer in it to get them fired up. So, hit the primer, it's just a lot of basically your ignition switch and the primer on and off and hit the start button until it goes. This time it just didn't want to go for some reason, but once it got up to speed, it was same old boat.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. The same old boat, tapping the sponsons left to right. You have two sponsons that do help you guide you around the course. Maybe on the next team, you might want to try to get a little closer to the water, because there was a few times you had us scared. I even saw the strong team over there when you got out of the boat. They all looked at you like you're crazy.
It's definitely a little bit windier from this morning. Got to start paying attention to more now, and just try to keep it
all right. Well, congratulations to yet another checkered flag. I'm sure that you have a fan club at home. I want to say hello to Jimmy King at home, because I'm sure he is watching you. Congratulations once again, Bobby King in the Shenanigans.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer.